Got 6 minutes and 41 seconds to showtime, okay? And today's topic is single high-value women. That's right. We're going to get the definition of single high-value women here today. Hello, everybody that's tuning in. I want you to say hello. I want you to make a comment. I want you to say something. 6 minutes and counting down. Anybody that wants to call in, I want you to call in. I want your voice to be heard. Any questions or concerns you might have from our panel, I want you to ask them. Five minutes and counting to showtime. 5 minutes and counting to showtime. Hey. Now, ladies, I want you to share this video on your page. If you can. I don't know if you can. I don't know if we're friends yet. Okay, 4 minutes and counting. Come on, Vicky. All right, 3:35 and counting. We have a couple of people tuned in so far. Thank you for tuning in. This episode is going to be really, really, really special, inspiration and education at the same time. .21 and counting down. It's almost time. We're going to hear the secrets from the high single value women. Episode 1. Episode 2 is going to be following the following week. I got my notepad ready. Got my notepad ready and got my phone ready in case my pen or pencil breaks. Minute 37 seconds. It's almost showtime. 45 seconds and counting down. Hello, Facebook, YouTube friends. How are you doing? What's going on with you, Bernice? My lovely wife. Tuning in to make sure I'm staying in line. Saying something I'm not supposed to be saying. All right, 10 seconds and counting down to showtime. 10 seconds. All right. Welcome to the Mr. He Got Game and Friends podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, I want you to go to the YouTube channel. I want you to like, subscribe, and click that bell. That bell is going to let you know when I got another podcast coming out or when it's streaming live. Today, we are talking about single high-value women, episode 1. That's right, single successful women. And we're going to start the show off with a few introductions. Jody, I want you to let the people know something about yourself. Oh, hold on, Jody. You still muted?
Yes.
Okay, there you
Yes,
go.
I was muted. I'm sorry. My name is Jody. I am. What do you want me to tell the people?
Just a little
Everything
brief,
about me?
like you sent me, just a brief description. CEO, same thing. Just a brief description.
Okay, sure. So, hi,
Sum
my
it
name
up.
is Jody. I am a mother, first and foremost, of 2 beautiful daughters, 17 and about to be 13. I am the CEO of JD Lewis Group, which is a marketing and PR firm. I'm also the CEO of Covington Telecommunications, which is a Dropberry cable company. I believe I'm the only Black um, female owner of a company like that. I also am the COO of a theme cruise called Uber Soka Cruise. And I think I'm all around a dope person.
And right, you didn't know what to say, right? Okay. The next person, Deshauna. What's going on, lovely Deshauna? Give the people a brief description.
Hi. So I'm Deshauna, and I am not the CEO of anything other than my life.
Same here. Same here.
I do have 2 daughters. One is 22, and the other is 9. I have a grandson who is 7 months old, and I am a director of national benefits for one of the big 4 accounting firms. And I think I'm pretty dope too. I have a friend named Jody, so I guess dope people hang with
Oh,
each other.
shucks. That's
Oh,
right.
snap.
Okay. Next, we got another lady coming up by the name of Tahisha. What's going on, lovely Tahisha?
Hello, good evening, everyone. Yes, my name is Taisha. You got it right. You didn't say
Woo,
Tanisha.
woo, 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 woo. And shockingly, hold on before you start. I started off, I sent them a message, and I'm going to get all 3 on. We missing one so far, one that's going to come on. But I sent them a message, and the message I sent them to see if they were going to check me, because you know how successful people are anal about everything. And the message I sent for the link was, here the link you will utilize to access this show. It wasn't here is the link, but nobody said anything to me, so I applaud you on that, okay?
We read it too quick and we didn't have
the entire
time.
message and just saw the link. I was so
applaud you.
busy today.
I think you should let everybody know something about yourself real quick.
Well, I'm a mother, first of all. I have 2 grown sons. a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old. So they're pretty much priority. My background is radiology, and I'm an image analyst for Emory Winship Cancer Research Center. So here in Atlanta.
All right, all right, all right. We're gonna tackle this first. We're gonna tackle this first topic. And I want a definition from everybody. I want a definition of a high value woman. The people want to know what's the definition of a high value woman. Define that for me, please.
Okay, so I guess I'll start. So I mean, I think that the high value woman, I think immediately one would go to a woman that is successfully financially. So let's just put a figure on that.
Yep.
6 figures plus. 100K plus after taxes are filed. For me, I mean, that's a part of it. But I think that what's even more important is women that are mentally sound, that make their mental well-being their priority, that are not only financially stable, but just fully invested with their day-to-day life. They handle their business. They take care of their children. They make sure that dinner is prepared. That to me is a high value woman. But in terms of those that are extremely successful, we'll look at education. Those that have obtained a higher degree of education, master's, doctorate level degrees, and even undergrad degrees as well. So that would kind of be my definition, but my definition is not the definition, but that's just how I look at it.
All right, all right, all right. Who want to tackle that next? Tahisha or Deshauna?
I can go. I struggle with defining high value in terms of men or women, just because I think your value is in the eye of the beholder, so to speak. So, I mean, I think part of our issue in society is that we have decided that we are high value when others might look at us and be like, well, that's not what I value, so you're not really that high value to me. Instead of seeking to understand what is valuable to the person or people or situation that we want to be valued in. So I do agree from a societal standpoint, value is placed on your earning potential, your educational achievements, maybe your occupational title. But when it comes to relationships, I don't know that we meet the mark as far as what a high value woman to a man seeking a woman looks like. So I would say I'm still trying to figure that out.
Tahisha?
Well, I agree with both some what Jody and Deshauna had to say about their views of what the definition is. For me, I agree that the value put on someone is in the eye of the beholder. What I value in a person may not be what another one person values in an individual. So it all depends on what you're looking for, what your ethics and morals are, and in terms of if you appreciate somebody who makes 6 figures over somebody who be a good mother, who's caring, who's loving, who's supportive, things of that nature. So I look at value, and I may look at value in a different way than the other person may look at it.
Okay, now I'm gonna stick to that question for a second. I want to know why each one of you, and eventually Vicky is gonna come on, why each one of you consider yourself a high value woman.
Well, I'll go first. I
Go.
consider myself I consider myself high value because I know my worth. And I think everybody should know their worth. And because if you don't know what your value is, don't expect anybody else to value you. It's as simple as that.
Okay, okay. Who's gonna tackle that question next? Why do you consider yourself a high value woman?
I can go.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I would just say the fact that I feel like I'm a team player. I definitely would not consider myself to be a visionary, but I do consider myself to be an executioner, meaning if you have the vision and I buy into that vision, I can get you there. And I'm also, I'm pretty responsible. I'm pretty caring. I'm I'm hot or cold, so y'all may be your best friend or your worst enemy, and you tend
Oh,
to be able
shucks.
to decide.
What
But
zodiac sign is that? Gemini or something?
no, not quite. Um,
Okay.
but but I think if I'm on your side, like you have a real ally and an asset in me. Um, so I think that makes me valuable.
Jody?
I believe that I'm value add. I believe that I add to any situation that I'm in, any relationship, whether that's business or personal. I add to it. I don't take away. I am an asset, not a liability. I am a creator and an executioner. As Deshauna indicated, I can take your vision from an idea to reality, and I just on top of all of the societal things that the world tells us that we should have, I think, I grew up as a little girl hearing what many little girls heard, get educated, make good money, don't make sure you know how to cook, be a good mom, do all these great things. And I think that I've done all the society things, but I think what society left out, where I took it a step further, was even just focusing on my mental well-being and my mental health, and just being stable in that area too. So I think that I consider myself high value because I am value add. I know what I bring to the table. I sometimes bring the whole table. You just
Okay,
sit down and
okay,
enjoy the
okay. Yeah,
meal.
yeah, 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 yeah. Whatever, whatever. Hey, we got Vicky. Welcome, Vicky. How's it going, Vicky? Test your audio, Vicky. So
Everything
we
is good.
okay. I knew it was
You
gonna
guys
be.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be one woman that was gonna be on CP time. I'm just teasing. Vicky. Welcome to the show. I want you to give everybody just a brief description of who you are and what you do.
Well, I apologize for my tardiness. My name is Vicky Lewis. I am multiple things. I have a consulting business, so I do anything from preparing your everyday life to doing big name events. So right now I'm actually working while I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to be one of those multiple women that can do everything at once. Team
Yes,
too much right now.
you're doing something
Um,
last minute, right?
I am. I'm actually coordinating a video shoot that has been going on for the last 2 nights. So tonight is one that's a group of 25 people that I have to find between the last 24 hours.
Now,
So yeah,
one question I did ask them is, why do you consider yourself a high value woman?
I consider myself a high value woman because I'm a woman of execution. Um, if you need something done in your life, I always want to make sure that the person who I'm partnered with is doing things on a whole nother scale. For as far as for me now, I am educated. I am well cultured, well rounded. As far as I can fix a whole bed together, down to just down with a female and going out and enjoying yourself like a little, feminine wise. So I can go from one extreme to the next. So there's no
From
there's
jeans
nothing
to a
that I will
dress,
not
then,
do.
huh?
From jeans, not even from jeans, from
from
sweatsuit,
from
from a
from over
sweatpants
from
to a
overalls to
dress,
a dress, huh?
from overalls to a dress and heels.
now I will
So,
s-
one of those women who can do everything.
now I will say we have three Islanders on the phone.
Yes, and I
Tahisha,
am from the Virgin Islands.
and Jody and Vicky. Okay. Now I have to tackle this question. What was your motivation to become a high successful woman? Was it money, or was it survival skills? What was it? But was it money? That's what I want to know. Was it really the money that motivated you to become high successful?
For me,
Not the money falling.
I no money's falling for real. It's making it
Okay.
rain.
Okay. Who's gonna tackle that one first? Okay.
I can tackle
I
it.
can. Oh,
This is fairly easy for me. My motivation is survival. I was never, and I still am not into like money or material things at all. My motivation for getting educated and furthering my education. I have 2 master's degrees. Has never been money or whatever. It's just been a way and a means of survival. I was in a situation where on welfare and food stamps and evictions and negative balances in my bank account when I was married, and I learned early on that my ex-husband wasn't able to really provide in a way that could prevent us from landing in the poorhouse, as my grandmother would say. So for me, it was a matter of kind of seeing or pulling myself out of a rut and seeing that I needed to do better for myself and in turn do better for my family. So for me, it was straight survival. I remember very like it was yesterday in 2008 when we had gone through evictions and welfare, and I just had a brand new baby. And I remember driving after being evicted from Texas to Atlanta to my mother's house and saying that on that long drive, saying that I will never be on welfare again. I will never go through another eviction. I will never experience this, even if I have to do it by myself. And it was like, I call that my Phoenix year. This is when I rose from the ashes. And within weeks, I, got a job, and I helped my ex-husband get a job, and, started working and building, got my master's degree, got a second master's degree, and worked my way up from there. So for me, it was survival, and it's still survival. I still do everything that I do to make sure that I never end up where I started out.
All right, all right. That's great information and great feedback. Who wants to tackle that question next? Was it money or was it survival? And I'm going to go through each one of the individuals that's on the guest panel. Who wants to tackle it next? I'm going to call y'all. Deshauna, come on. Was it money or was it survival, okay?
So for me, it was survival, but not quite for the same reasons that Jody has. I've always been stubborn and independent. I was that kid, like when I was younger, I do it. Like, the kid that doesn't want any help and they don't know what they're doing, but they don't want to let you help them. That
Correct.
was probably me. So for me, I realized that I wanted to be able to buy my own clothes when I was a teenager. So I got a job. I wanted to be able to do things on my own. I didn't want to have to ask anyone for anything, and I didn't want to, be indebted to anyone for anything. So I had to get it on my own, not because I couldn't lean on other people, but just because I didn't want to.
Correct.
And then I became a mother at 17, and I didn't want to have to depend on anybody else to help me take care of my child financially. So I was going to do whatever I needed to do to get to a certain level of success where I wouldn't have to need help, so to speak. I still struggle with asking for help when I do need help. But for me, it was definitely survival in the sense that I wanted to do everything on my own.
Okay. Tahisha, you ready to tackle that question? Was it money or was it survival? I mean, if it's money, it's okay. Just say it's money.
Right?
Money motivates everybody. So you ready to tackle that
Money is
question?
helpful. We
There
need
you
it.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
So what was your motivation?
For me, it was survival. I don't think it was money, but it was, of course I had to consider the salary I would be making. So, but it was for survival. And for me, it was because I was married young. So, and we wanted to have a family, my ex-husband and I. So I found a field that I saw that I could work, and I didn't have to work all the time, and I could spend the majority of the time raising my 2 sons. And so that's the field I went into. And it was very helpful because I was able to work when I wanted to. Um, that career, I'm still in it now, and now I work from home. So for me, it was definitely survival and what was best for my family,
And
because
so that's radiology? Radiology, you work from home?
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Can you believe
No.
it?
The administrative part, I take it then, right? You're working a more administrative part?
No, I was administrative. My last job was administrative. I was able to get a position, since I work in research, so I'm kind of
Okay.
like, Yeah, I'm able to analyze images from my home, from my laptop, and everything is done over. I pull images from the hospital and analyze them, send them to the radiologist. So I'm able to do that from home, which is such a blessing because I never thought that I would. I've always taken, scanned people where I physically had to be there.
Yes, yes.
Always supervised where you physically have to be there. So when this opportunity came, it was just heaven sent. So for me, it's survival and my family's first all the time, period. And that's success for me.
Okay, Vicky. I think Vicky's driving and broadcasting at the same time. Is that correct?
Yes, I am actually.
So
I'm
what's your
sorry.
motivation? Was it money or was it success or survival? Let me correct myself. Was it survival?
As for me, I think I'm the only one on the panel who's not a mom. So it's not really survival for me necessarily. It was more so family expectations because I grew up in a family. I come from a long line of entrepreneurs as women. Even though they had regular 9 to 5s, they still had another side hustle. So I think that also was instilled in me to always be successful in
Okay, I think she froze for a second. We're gonna wait till she come back. Now, one other thing that most
my
men.
other great grandmother had a bread shop, and my grandmother had like a whole modeling agency for my whole life. So I've been in entertainment my whole life also. So I think it was more so instilled in me
Mhm.
than survival or for money. It's just something that I actually was motivated to do just because that's how I grew up. That's how I was raised.
Okay. This next question,
So
everybody
money is
wants to
great.
know. Hey,
Money is
everybody,
lovely, of course.
money
Getting
is
that
lovely. How
money is
much money?
great,
Since you're
but it
bringing
was
up, how
more
much
so
money are you
something that
making?
I
There? How much money
I
are you
just
making,
grew up
Vicky?
in. That I
Vicky,
had
how
I
much
to.
money
think
are you
that she
making?
is.
I
I
felt
think
like
her
I had a
audio.
pressure of reaching their
You might need to
standards
cut her
and
because
not
I
letting
don't
them
think.
down.
Well,
I don't think.
okay. But Vicky, you're frozen, so you're gonna probably have to call right back. You're probably gonna have to click off and join us right back. But next question I'm gonna tackle that everybody always asks you: if you're successful, why aren't you married? Why are you single? Who's gonna tackle that question? You hear it every day. You get responses. You give them an answer. So go ahead and tell everybody why are you single. Who's gonna tackle that one first? You're high. You're successful.
I can tackle it. I've actually done some pretty intense self work to answer this question. So
Okay,
I think that
yeah. Jody, why are you single? Got your hair
I
flipped over your shoulder?
yeah, but this is a tough question. um, I think that the reason that I am still single is because I have I have chosen the wrong men to date. I have chosen men that I can support and feed into, but not men that can or are interested in supporting and feeding into me. I am very much a helpmate, and I tend to be more attracted to um, men that I can help. So what I've learned about myself is that this my choices have are the reason that I'm single. And honestly, I was married for 10 and a half years.
Okay.
So for a while, after my divorce in 2015, I didn't want to do the remarriage thing, right? So when I kind of took the time to heal from that over the past maybe 2 years, I've decided, hey, marriage is something that I absolutely want to do again, and I want to do it right. So in deciding that, I have to look at the men that I've chosen to date post my divorce. And one thing is I have in common is that I've chosen men that um, haven't been as motivated or driven, that require maximum support at times, or have their own insecurities. And for me, with my master's degree in psychology, I look at it as a great project. And
Were they
and if you
showpieces? In other words, they're probably showpieces, right?
they're all good
Eye
looking.
catchers. Eye catchers with no
They are.
substance is what you're
Yes,
saying.
yes. Have you been in? You must know Jody.
eye
Yes,
catches
you
with
are
no
absolutely
substance.
right.
Yeah,
She's
so
good
Look,
for a
silly.
if
showpiece.
we're gonna keep it all the way
Go ahead, go
100,
ahead, go
first and
ahead, go ahead.
foremost, I know my issues. How about let's start with that?
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
they
Okay,
are good
okay.
looking.
Okay. Eye candy, right? Jody's like, woo! I don't care how much money you got, but you look good. Okay.
But you know, but I will say this because before you go on, I will say this: it's important that at some point in time, what you desire is what you desire. Like, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're so wrong and you'll never be married. I could have easily ended up with a man in that category that did
Yes.
make me happy.
Yes.
So it but what I find is if I really want the type of man that can reciprocate the things that I do, then I need to be more selective with the men that I allow into my space, because I do give a lot. I have a lot to offer, and I tend to give that away to the wrong people. And this is not just in romantic relationships. I'm blessed now that I have great friendships, but there was a time that I would give away even the love and the kindness and the support to friends as well, right? So this is me being transparent on.
I got you. Fellas, hit the gym. Get those clothes ready if you want to get Jody, okay? Deshauna. We're going to answer this question, Deshauna.
So,
Why are you single being a successful woman? I know you get asked this question all the time. So, Deshauna, I want you to go ahead and give us your typical reply.
so I would say, because previously I've been unclear on what I wanted in a man, and because I was unclear, I would accept the men that came to me. So much like Jody mentioned, I've had a tendency to attract men who needed fixing or help. And because I only picked from what chose me and I wasn't very clear on what I wanted, I would spend time, effort, energy, all of that in those men. I have become very clear on what I want, and I'm also very willing to express that pretty early on, but I'm also willing to walk away when I identify that it's not what I want. And so one may say that, I'm that friend that's like, oh, I met someone, and then 2 weeks later, yeah,
There
never
you go.
mind.
Hey, you take the photos down, right?
Right?
We don't put them up.
The photos don't even come up, right?
Tahisha. Oh, you didn't finish? I'm
But
sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm cutting you off. Go ahead.
But I also would say too, I think sometimes not being able to express a vulnerability is a downside, because you want a man who can be a rock and be some strength, but then you don't know how to exhibit the vulnerability that lets him know that it's okay. So I struggle with that too, although I will say vulnerability requires a sense of safety that, as a Black woman, we don't always get from men. But I know that sometimes you have to be willing to put yourself out there and be vulnerable in order for you to fully benefit from a man's strength.
All right. I got another question at the end of this response that everybody's going to ask. So, Tahisha, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Why are you single, miss work from home? You know what I mean? Let us know what's going on.
Well, I don't have a psychology degree, so I'm no expert in relationships or anything like that. I just want to make that disclaimer. So for me, I think I just haven't made getting remarried a priority. I'm one of those women who's been married before, so it's like been there, done that. It's easier to tie the knot than to untie it. Um, I was in a lengthy marriage. It was like 16 years, 14, and then it took 2 years to untie. So to me, marriage is very serious because I've experienced it and I know what it should be. So, and, I was married to a good man. I know what love is. And for me, I can see things that maybe other people can't. Like I know how love feels. I know what it should be like. And if it's not there, like, I don't waste time.
Or are
I
you
kind
afraid to fall in love again? That's a possibility.
that's the
That
like I
is a
said,
possibility.
I'm-
You could be so sheltered and so protected that you refuse to go down that
could be
aisle
it.
again.
Like I said, I'm no expert. So hey, somebody want to analyze me, go right ahead and try. But for me, I haven't made it priority. I didn't say, hey, I'm gonna get married this year, because I believe in, if you set goals for
Yes.
yourself,
Yes.
you can do it. Like, if you want to be married again, you can be married again. I don't care what income level you're
Mm-hmm.
at, or any, like, success doesn't have anything to do with it.
I got you. I got you. So Vicky, why are you single, Miss Vicky? Yeah, take yourself off mute real quick. I think you muted yourself.
I did. I was moving around.
Okay.
That's $1 million question for me, because I think, like tonight, I'm working. I work a whole lot. So I guess because of my spontaneity, that's the word? My spontaneous abilities to move around, I kind of don't want to be, I can't say I don't want to be bogged down, but I need someone who understands me being able to be mobile and not thinking that I need to be in a house. And I tend to attract guys who feel, because I'm from the Caribbean, I got to be used to that housewife type of feel, like the old school way of doing things. And I'm not a housemaid. I'm not that type. So I think that was another thing that I have. I attract those kind of guys for some reason. People who need help, people who just want you to be home and just waiting on them, and then they don't make enough money. So that's also an issue for me. So I think that might be my issue why I'm still single.
Okay.
Knowing what I want.
What? You know what you want?
What? I mean, for the most part, I definitely know what I want, but it's to find it out there. I live in Atlanta. It's
Okay.
extremely hard to find anything of what we want in Atlanta, because what normally we want, they want the other type, or they want the same thing we want.
Okay. Hey, y'all funny. Hey, but this leads into the next question. I'm glad Vicky's driving. I see those leather seats, and you guys say you pretty much tend to attract people that are not as successful. Is it because of what you're driving? What kind of car? I want to know what kind of car each one of the ladies on the panels are driving.
I have a simple Nissan Murano. That's it. I don't have an expensive car. Not a luxury car. Well, I think it's luxury. It's a 2021 Nissan Murano.
Okay.
2021.
I have a Nissan
Yeah.
Pathfinder.
Nissan Pathfinder and a Jody.
I have a 2021 Lexus.
2021 Lexus. Leathered out and everything. There you go, bingo. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. Guys are just like women. If they see anything flashy, anything big like cars and jewelry, they're attracted to it. That's pretty much it. It's the truth.
Well, I have a theory about this, right? So, and I've been doing some research in preparation to this episode and the next one, and I think that the misconception, because we're dealing with myths today, right?
No,
There's a
we're gonna
misconception.
get the myths. Hold on. I want to hear what Tahisha is driving. Then we're gonna get to that question, Jody. I want to hear what Tahisha's driving right now too.
I
Okay.
just have a Mercedes Benz. It's not even.
It's Jess. What year is it? What year is it? That's what I want to know. What year is that Benz?
Old. It's a 2013.
Okay, 2013. Okay, that's not that bad.
It's
That's
paid
not that
for,
bad at
it's
all.
fine.
Okay. Okay. Now go ahead. Myths. This we're gonna get to myths versus truths. So, what are some of the myths that people assume with highly successful women, and so what are some of the truths? So, ladies, tackle that.
So I did a post a few weeks back in preparation for this, and there are a list of myths that a lot of my Facebook friends kind of threw out there. So I'll read this, but one of the ones I want to tackle kind of first is what we were just talking about. I think there's a myth that successful women are attracted to toxic men or unsuccessful men, and that we're not attracted to them in the sense that we're looking for someone toxic or looking for someone on that's not on the same level as us, and I think this is not a gender thing, right? Because I think men have the same issue. Toxic people present extremely well, right? That's kind of what makes them toxic. So it's not like I meet a guy and then he's like, oh, I have this problem and that problem and that problem, help me. That's not the case. Typically they present very well. They're very motivated. When they meet me, they're very encouraged. They're very much like, I want to do this, or I've done that. it's this presentation that is typically given off. And I have a lot of an amazing single guy friends, a lot that I've met, lately through the Facebook and everything else. And they have the same problem. They meet women. These are highly successful men. All of them make over 6 figures. And they meet women that present really, really well. They're I can cook, I can clean, I'm the best at this, that, and the third. And then as they start to get into a relationship with them, after about 90 days, which we've talked about,
Yes.
Those things kind of fall down. So I think that this is not a female problem or male problem. I think it's just a people problem. Like, initially toxic people present very,
Correct.
very well.
Correct.
So I don't
But
want the audience
making
to
over
think
6
that-
figures make you successful financially, but it doesn't make you successful as a person, and it doesn't make you a
Absolutely
good
not.
person. It doesn't make you a good person. Not at all.
And
Not at all.
even you don't you can meet a guy that says, "Oh, I'm an entrepreneur and I make over 6 figures and I make all this money."
Yes.
And you won't really know that until things start unfolding, right? So it's very much not. I just don't want the audience to think that, oh, these women are just attracted to negative guys and guys that are going to mess them over. That's not the case. In general, these types of people, they present very well initially, and then after a few weeks, that mask kind of comes off. But I'll just read some of the myths that my Facebook people said, and then the girls can tackle these.
And because I'm coming for you, Tahisha. I'm coming for you, Deshauna. You're not slipping this question, but go ahead, Jody. Give us some of the myths. This is Jody's my Dr. Phil, in case y'all don't know. Okay, she's my Dr. Phil. But go ahead, Jody.
So some of the myths that women and men were putting on my Facebook page is successful women can't let men be men.
That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. I'm in the check. That's the truth. Hold on. I'm in the check. That's the truth because they do not know how. Listen to me. They do not know how to leave work at work. So if they're a CEO at work, if they're the boss at work, they tend to try to bring that home too. No, leave that at the door. But go ahead, Jody. I'm sorry.
It's not true, and because you interjected, I'm gonna rebut that. It's 1,000% not true. And as a woman that has led a team of 150, and I do all these massive projects, it's the last thing I want to be when I come home. It's the absolute last.
I agree. Most women should want to be that way.
It is so appalling to hear that because it's so far from the truth.
There's a lot of them
for women that for women that are truly grounded and understand that their success is a means to an end. It doesn't define me as a person. When I get home, I just want to be loved and loved. I want to cook for my family. I want to make sure my kids' homework is done. So this idea that women that are successful are like the boss in the workplace and the boss at home, and you can't tell them nothing. It's just, it's offensive. It's offensive. I don't find it to be true at all. And I know.
So I'll say this, Rick. In other words, when you get home, you just want to leave that leadership hat at the door. But I'm telling you, a lot of women come through and they want to dictate, especially if they're making more money than a man. I'm just keeping it real. But go ahead.
Is this your experience, Reggie? Are you talking from personal experience?
I'm not talking from personal experience because I'll make sure. I'm a former Marine. I'm always going to run my household, okay? Oh, wow.
But Reggie, let me just say from the opposite. I agree with Jody that it's not true. But I also think that when you have women who are bosses, so to speak, in their professional world, sometimes if they come home and something needs to be taken care of, it is hard for them to sit back and wait for you to figure it out when they've already figured it out. So I do agree where it could come off that they don't know how to not be that at home. But I think it's just one of those things like you see a puzzle and you know how to fix it, but you're supposed to sit back and the other person is struggling.
Jody, she's the prime example of what I was talking about, Jody.
But it's not that we don't want to leave it alone. It's just that it's in our nature to fix. And so maybe that comes off as, oh, she can't put it down.
But when you have a man, sometimes you have to sit back. And even if it takes time for him to figure it out, give the man time to figure it out, okay?
But being aware of that, it allows you to sit back and not. I have friends like that. I have a friend who will call me and ask will tell me her problems, and I immediately want to go into how can I help you and how
But
can
that's
I
different.
fix
That's
it.
different than your
And I
man,
have,
though. That's different than your man. That's
but
totally
it's the
different.
same
Okay.
tendency of being aware and sitting back and saying, you know what? Even though my nature is to want to jump in and fix this, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to allow him, but it takes an awareness because, again, when you've been doing it, especially when you've been single for many years and you're in your 40s, it's
Mm.
hard. I will admit, it can be hard to put that down. But it's not that we don't want to and it's not that we can't. It just may not be something that we are successful at 100% of the
Because
time.
because
But
a
I
lot
think
of
that
times,
goes
so I'm
both
gonna say
ways. I
this.
think it's flipped on the other side too. If you're with a man that has been single for a while, that's very successful, he's used to his life being a certain way,
Oh, look
and
at
you
my
come
wife is
in,
gonna have something to say about this. But go
you
ahead.
know, and you come in, he's not going to be so willing to let you manage and handle things until he can trust that you can do so, right? So I think
Right.
we put some of these things on gender, but it's just to me more so personality and familiarity, like what you're familiar with in your home. And so I think it takes a level of trust and vulnerability to trust that person coming in to say, hey, you know what, I can do this, or whatever the case may be. I don't know if it's gender,
I think it's gender, but Vicky, go ahead. I want Vicky. Vicky, you got
Men
a response
complain
to
So
about
this?
it
I
more
was
than
actually
women
gonna.
do, Jody.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Vicky, you got a
Men
response to
complain
this?
about
we
it.
complain about a lot.
Vicky, do
I
you have a response to this?
I do, because I think it's a myth. I know for a fact it's a myth, because sometimes we like that vulnerability at home. We want to come home and just feel like the woman and someone's taking care of everything for us, and don't think we have to be the one to always do something when we're home too. Sometimes as I said, we tend to attract those people who need our help all the time, which is the reason why we are single. So
It,
for me, I would
it
say
could be. It could be because it look like y'all got it going on and y'all don't mind helping. That could be the truth. It could be the
that.
truth.
I mean, and that's
I
the
mean,
thing. So
you
we
got
tend to
guys
have.
that are gold diggers too, and so
Well,
you
I know
got
a
guys
lot
that are
of
gold
male
diggers.
gold diggers.
Yes.
And my friend actually posted a question today. For ladies, do we prefer was it physical security or emotional security? And I said I want a man that has both. Like, I can be emotionally secure with somebody and trust them, and then a roach crawls across the street or crawls across the kitchen floor, and he jumping like I'm jumping. I gotta make sure that he can do it too, you know? So I gotta make sure that he could physically secure me and make me feel vulnerable enough to have the emotional support also.
So you're
And
looking
that's the
for the
biggest
Incredible
thing.
Hulk, then, right? He can secure you if he got a gun. Now, if he's got something by his side or a fly swatter or
No,
maybe some big
he should
shoes
be
to
able to.
step on the bug with.
No, I need somebody who will the old school way too. I need to be able to punch or take out my shit. You don't always have to have a gun, because I got a gun my damn self.
I
But
got
I
you.
don't need you to
I
have a gun
got you.
all the time. Can actually use a gun on me, you know? But I just need to make sure that someone can physically take care of stuff and plan things. That's another thing for us too. Like, we always the ones planning. So you have
I
men
got you.
who come around us and they always want to have us be the ones that plan, because we do it all the time at work. They will. The first thing they would say is, "Oh, you do it all the time. Why don't you just do it now?"
So,
No, we
Vicky,
want you to take
Yes.
plan and do it.
Vicky,
Yes.
you're like a physical man, which means that I can guarantee you would test your guy's manhood to see who, I guess, is stronger, you or him. I guarantee. I mean,
I know.
huh?
I'm.
I'm sorry, the
I
wrong
know.
button there.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I
You never
no.
play fight it with your guy, anything like that to test his physical ability.
Play
I mean, we play fight, but we know that play fight is different.
That's the way she. I mean, because you can't look at a person and tell whether or not, or determine whether or not he can throw a punch, unless you do something to get him into a fight, like wink at somebody and the
No,
guy say
not trying
something.
to bait her
no.
into
There's
this
no.
I
nonsense.
know it's the
There's
truth
actually
though. It's
simple
the
things.
truth.
No. Let me tell you something. There's actually simple things you can tell by the way someone's gonna protect you. And because of the open relationship I have with my dad and my uncle, I see those things, and I know those are holes. My dad and my uncle, they watch it, but they were holes. So therefore, they show me the bad and the good in a man and what I could look forward to. And they tell me that all the time, that they spoil me for any other man, because they show me, even with walking in the street, and if he doesn't protect me by going to the other side, the street side, that's a simple situation. That's like, okay, you there to protect me a little bit more, or opening up the doors, or if we're sleeping in the bed, he's sleeping next to the door instead of having me sleep next to the
Right.
door. Like those are simple things that we pay attention to see if that man
I
is the
got you.
one
I got you.
that's going to protect us.
So go ahead and tell Daddy
But
you
you know
love Daddy.
what?
You
So
love
many
Daddy.
men don't understand that opening the door for a woman is a protective measure. They think it's some like
Exactly.
antiquated thing. They don't understand that you're opening the door to make sure that she's safe before you secure yourself.
And
Okay,
And it's
actually, you know
okay.
what?
something
I
that,
learned also
I can
even more.
say that
Listen to these ladies, boy. They on this topic right here. Go
what,
ahead.
it's important, right? Like I
Yes.
remember a time when my ex-husband, we had an issue with the apartment security deposit. We need to get the security deposit back, and I remember talking to my ex-husband in the car, like, we need to go in there and we need to tell this man, because it was this old white man and he didn't want to give us our money back. And I was like, okay, are you ready? And he sat in the car. He was like, um, you got it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go in there by myself. He was like, nah, you got it. And I'm like, you're not gonna. It's like so many moments I remember of feeling unprotected. But I will say now, the men that I date now do all of those things. They stand on the roadside. They make sure I'm secure. I mean, it just feels so good to know that this man has my back, and not just in it is extreme danger, just in conversations. It's like, he has it, and that is so attractive, and so it just makes me feel like, oh gosh, I don't have to be on the defensive when I go out, because I know that if somebody says something crazy, or acts a little funny, he's gonna be like, yo, bruh, this is my girl, hold up. And I don't have to be like, excuse me, he has it, and that is so incredibly attractive.
Conan the Barbarian, right? I'm just teasing. Okay, Tahisha, I need your response. You've been quiet, you've been laughing, and you've been listening, okay?
I've been listening, taking it all in.
So go ahead. What are truths versus myths, I guess, especially when it comes to the women coming home and being a successful woman and not taking off that leadership hat?
I think there probably are women that do that. I mean, like everybody. For me, that's not the case. I like for a man to lead, even in the dating. Like, if somebody wants to date me, I don't even respond if somebody texts me and says, "Can I take you out? Where do you want to go?" It's like, what do you mean? Where do I want to go? So, I don't need to take charge. Um, if I'm in charge at work, I definitely don't want to do it at home. I want to be taken care of. I want to have some days off, some time off. I want some things to be taken care of, to know that things will be taken care of at the house when I'm not there. Um, but yet, and then while I'm dating now, that's one thing that I know that is a total turn off. If somebody wants to take me out and ask me what would I like to do,
A lot of times he's trying to get to know you. Right off the rip, he's not going to know your likes and dislikes. So that's a conversation that at some point, unless you're going to write it down on a piece of paper and then he can go from there, but that's a conversation at one point you have to have.
I mean, well, of course, I don't normally go out with guys, just meeting them right off the bat. It's usually people that I've interacted with or who is around me, so they kind of know, you know, um, things a little bit about me. They
Unless you're
might
doing
not
a
know
whole
everything.
lot of talking. That's the only way they can know, unless you're doing a whole lot of talking.
Well, this is just my experience, and I know that I've known people for a while, and they'll still text me, "Where do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Well, you're not ready to take me out yet, so
It's
I don't
not
think."
that. It's just sometimes some people want to cater to you. They want to know, what do you have a desire to do today? What is it that you're feeling that you want to do today? You want to do the movies? You want to do a particular restaurant?
Yeah,
Whatever it
I
is.
think
Hold on.
that's
Whatever it
different.
is, I just want to make sure I cater to you. And that's a good
Well,
thing.
That's different. But if
well, what
somebody's been asking me to go out like for weeks and stuff, it's like, oh, okay, well, cool. You want to do something? It's like, give me. So I text them back and I let them know. Give me a time and a date, and I'll let you know if I'm available, or when and where. Say something, not just like
yeah,
you want to hang out. Like
you're
I'm not.
better than me because if they
I'm not
say,
eight
"Hey, I'd like to
seven.
take you out sometime," guess when we going out?
When? Tonight? I'm
Never.
just teasing.
Until they hit me up like, "Are you free this day, this time?" I'm like,
Yeah, so I
"Okay,
brought
you
that
want
up
to take
just
me
to
out?"
say, we do want the guys in our life to lead. And that's just a small way of seeing if you're gonna be, leading, say, and I, what know what kind of class of a woman I am. So, pick a nice place, a place decent that you would take a nice woman on a date that you would probably want to impress, and do that.
A picnic could be impressive. Depends on
Well,
what
if
the
it's
items he bring. It all depends on what the items he bring to a picnic.
Hey,
It varies on person. You know what I
whatever.
mean?
I mean, it varies. I mean, to me, it's like I agree with the women that it's the messages of like, where do you want to go, is it's like, well, you asked, you know, you want to get to know me and I want to get to know, like, take me to a place that you like. So for me, I'm more like, take me to a place that you would want me to learn more about you, right? So I didn't ask you. So if I ask a guy, hey, do you want to hang out? Let's go to the Cowboys football game. I'm going to take you there because that's my favorite Cowboys team, right? Like, so take me someplace that I can learn about you. And because I, just like you want to get to know me, I'm trying to get to know you as
Oh,
well.
I
So
thought she's gonna take you to the gym or take you to a football game or something like that, or he might take you to a
not the
strip
gym.
club.
I'm not.
Take
We're
you to a
not
strip
going
club. You been
there.
in a strip club before?
Have
See?
I?
have.
Yes.
Yes,
Any
of
one of the
course I
ladies?
have.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
They can
So
be
I mean, so I
fun.
agree with that.
Okay. You can argue with that. Are any of you ladies on a dating site? I'm just curious.
I
I
have tried them.
haven't.
Currently, no.
Yeah.
I currently
I don't
know, but I've tried Match before, and but I'm not on any current dating sites.
Okay. Vicky, what did you say, Vicky? What was your response?
No, so I have been on a few dating sites before. Some people are crazy. Actually, the last one I was on, somebody was actually using someone else's picture, catfishing someone, and I knew the person they were using the picture for. So
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
Deshauna,
so that was
what's your page name on your dating site?
I'm currently not on a dating site. I have tried several of them in the past, and the experience was less than stellar. So yeah, I gave that up.
Tisha, Miss Work
I
from Home. I know you're on a dating site because you're on a computer all the time. One window
I'm not
working, one window
currently.
dating. I'm just teasing.
I have tried. I tried Match before. The most recent one I tried was Black, BLK.
Black. That's a dating site called Black?
I don't know if it's an app.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's
Well, we just gave him free advertisement. So how, how did it work? How long did you stay on there?
I went on it like twice. I usually stay like maybe 2 days or 3 days. I don't last long.
Okay.
Like I said, it has to be a commitment. Like you dating and wanting to get married, like you have to be committed. I'm not serious when I get on it. I totally admit that. I get on it to see what's out there and say, oh, talk to a few people, then I disappear.
Now, you're on a dating site. Now, I'm just curious. I have to throw this in there since we're on this conversation right now. And ladies in Atlanta, they tend to put on risky outfits and risky clothing items to draw more attention than the next person would on a dating site. Or are you ladies, pretty much conservative when you get on a dating site, when you put up pictures for your profile?
I usually put up
Oh,
pictures that are on my Instagram or
Me
or
too.
Facebook because they'll just
Pictures on
draw.
the beach, bikini,
I for me, I do a
bikini photos.
healthy. I,
Yeah, Jody got
I
those bikini photos.
listen. I do a
We
healthy
all
mix.
do. We all should
I
have bikini photos, definitely.
I tend to do a healthy mix of mine. Like I like to show my business professional side. I like to show my fun side. I like to show my, my bikini side or whatever the case may be. So I do a healthy mix because for me, if I am on an app or whatever, or even if you look at my Instagram, like I like to post a lot of natural pictures, my hair curly and poofy. I want you to see me. I don't want you to fall in love with a filter or some weird version of me. So I don't get that. Maybe that's just not my generation. So for me, I do a healthy mix of me natural. And it's so funny. Sometimes when I do put a filter on my pictures, like on my stories, I'll say like, this is not what I look like. This, like I just
We
tell
need more
people,
women like you, okay?
like, it's like, I want you to look at me. And when you see me in the morning, you know who I am, so so I do a healthy mix of looks.
And Deshauna, what about you?
Same. The Facebook, Instagram, I use the same photos. Like, I hate when you talk to someone and they say, "Send me a picture." You've just seen 5 pictures. They're the same pictures that you're gonna like. You're gonna ask me to send you a picture. Like,
But when
That's
they
so
ask you to send them a
true.
picture, they're not looking for those 5 pictures. They're looking for a whole
well,
total
guess
different
what?
picture
That's all
that
you're
somebody
gonna
else ain't
get.
got. Okay,
That's all you're gonna get. I'm sorry.
Okay, successful women. What is the most amount of money you've ever spent on a guy, even borrowed or just given as a gift? I'm just curious.
Oh man.
Hey,
Man,
hey, keep it honest.
Can
Keep
I
it
plead the
honest.
fifth?
Hold on. Keep it honest because it is what it is.
Can
It
I
is
plead
what
the
it is.
fifth?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, go ahead. You can go first.
Oh no, I said, can I plead the fifth?
No.
Reggie.
We ain't pleading no fifth. Just, I mean, no. It's a part of our lives. It's part of history. It's part of the past.
I would
I think the most I
I
spent
would
might have been
say
$3,000. 3,000, I think, is the
I
most I might have spent. But go ahead.
I would say 5,000.
Okay, 5,000. Okay, was it borrowed or was it
But
just a gift?
so I guess you could call it a gift because I never saw it again. It actually was.
Okay. No,
I
that's
know, I
okay.
got
That's
mine.
okay. I didn't see my money
It
again
actually
either. Okay. I didn't
no,
see my I didn't see
but
my
it
money.
was money that I gave to the individual to pay off some debts because I
Straight
thought that it
cash.
would contribute to our dynamic as a couple, and he decided to do other things.
Shoot you the douches.
Okay. And
No,
Jody,
I
look at
shot
Jody.
him the deuces. When I
Hey,
figured out that the debts
hey,
weren't paid off, I was like, yeah, I'm done.
no, Jody, we're gonna say you last. Tahisha, what's the most amount of money that you spent or lent a guy? I'm just curious.
Well, just I think last year I probably spent like maybe like $110 or something like that.
$110. That's it.
That's it. I don't really spend money
We
on
ain't talking
guys
about last year. We talking about lifetime, okay?
lifetime. Well, the only person that I really spent real money on was my kid's dad
Father.
who was
Okay.
married. Yeah,
Okay. That's different. That's
married,
different.
and
That's different.
yeah, that's different.
That's
So that's what
different.
I'm saying. Like dating and stuff. Like I
Yeah.
really don't like $100. That's
Okay.
it.
I can tell you the type. You asking for what? It's
They
over.
don't even. I don't date. I try not to date guys that'll ask me for anything.
Anybody in any given time could be in a financial situation. All depends. Okay,
But
So let
Vicky.
me be clear. This was my daughter's father. This wasn't a dating
It doesn't matter.
situation.
It don't matter. We're gonna
I'm
cover that
allergic
later.
to financial men with financial
It doesn't.
situations.
Don't justify it now, Deshauna. Okay, but
I'm
Vicky,
I'm just saying it wasn't some random like I'm dating and here you go. No, this was someone that I was living with.
I understand it.
But I haven't really been in a serious relationship to give somebody a magnificent gift, Like I haven't been in a relationship, so I don't think that if I'm just dating somebody casually or whatever, that I would be spending money on them.
And Deshauna, I understand it wasn't because of the wood that you gave the money. You just clarified it, okay? It was, it was another person. So Vicky, what's the most amount that you've given or lent a guy, Vicky?
I think my ex, he got a lot from me. He lived with me rent free for like 9 months.
Whoop, whoop.
On top
I'm
of that,
just
I gave him a down
kidding.
payment to buy his car. So that could add up to like a good $8,000 right there.
$8,000. Hey, let me ask you this, and I'm curious, and I'm gonna dig into that. How did it get to the point where it was rent free? Did he lose his job, and you say, "Hey, I'm your woman. I'm gonna be there for you through the thick and thin,"
Yeah.
or was it just in house? The other word.
No, it definitely was not that.
Okay.
It was more so he wasn't working at the time. He had had a whole lot of situations happening, and then
You've been
child
supportive.
support and a lot of situations. So I was just like, you know what, no problem. When you get on your feet, then we'll be good. Then I started to find stuff like receipts and realized that he had a whole lot of money sitting around. So I put
He
him
was
to work
pimping.
when I needed.
He was pimping.
He was trying to pimp, but then I pimped his back behind back. So I got back my money plus more, plus interest. So what I did is that I needed people to work for me. I had a movie set and I put him to work and his whole paycheck came to me.
Wow.
So I got back my money plus interest.
Good.
Wow. Okay, let's
Now I'm
get.
not meant to.
Okay, Jody. Jody,
This
What's-
is such a
what's the
this
most
is so
amount?
intrusive.
I know, right?
I mean, the
No,
most
it's not
of-
intrusive. No, it's not intrusive. If you've been down that road before, it doesn't mean you have to go down it again. Life is full of lessons at the end of the day. And if you don't sound, go ahead.
So for me, if I had to answer it, I would probably say the most I've spent on a male that I've dated.
Your inbox about
Probably
to blow up.
It's probably about anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500. Just I helped an ex with the legal situation, the down payment for a lawyer.
And that's gonna be on episode 2. Why do women end up with these bum dudes? You know what I mean? Why do successful women end up with
Again, they don't
less than
present as bums
less
initially.
than poverty level dudes? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they're
That they end up bailing out.
But
They're
I also
representatives.
so there's also another part. I mean, I went through this thing where I have money, and I went through this phase where like I met a good guy, and I would pay for a trip. Let's go on a trip.
Oh,
And,
shucks.
I don't know. I'm a giver. It's like just how was what I do. I mean, I didn't really know it was a big of a problem. So this is a thing, right? So this is what we struggle with, or what I struggle with. I won't even say we. What I struggle with has been I do give. I have never reciprocated. So the women that get all these lavish gifts and trips and stuff like that, I've never been that woman. Now I give the gifts and the trips and the like, but I've never dated a man that has flown me like to here there. So when I noticed that women that get these things, they
They're bums. They're bums themselves.
They know how to lead the leadership hat at home. I mean, at the job. At the end of the day,
They don't have a leadership
they don't
hat.
have a job.
Okay, hey,
They don't have a leadership hat.
Hey,
You
let me-
can
hey,
lead
hey,
anywhere.
what
them
now,
are in-house.
Vicky? What did you say they were?
They're in-house. Like you were saying, in-house dicks, they're in-house pussies for them.
Okay,
for
so
most
they're
men.
doing something strange. Will it change then, right?
It's so strange to look
They
at.
look strange. They want to gotta do for some change.
I got
But I will
no.
say, can I say this? I want to say
Yes.
this, that I have met, like, since I've had this shift and this level of accountability and recognize the things that I was doing, I've had this shift, and in this shift, I have actually noticed the difference in the men that I attract. So I will say the men that I currently dialogue with have just been such a breath of fresh air. Like these are men that are showing a level of respect and care, the ability to reciprocate, the ability to do more for me than I for them, and it's just refreshing. So I will say, ladies, if you're listening, there are some accountability things that we have to do within ourselves and learn the things that we're doing wrong and the like, and I think that once you reach that level of accountability, you will start seeing, like I tell my friends, and these are personal friends on here, and I've told them all of this. Like, it's just the men that I've more recently been dialoguing with, it just has restored my faith in men. They've just been so amazing, from romantically or just friends, just guys that I've been interacting with, have been refreshing.
But I can tell in the past, if you were buying trips, you were doing this and you're doing that, the guy's going to say, damn, you were taking the lead basically in everything. So, of course, the man is going to sit back because it's almost like, why should I do if she's going to continue to do? If he tried to, he would be competing against you, Jody, and no man wants to compete against a woman. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real.
I
No,
think
but
that's
that
a
wasn't-
myth too. I think
Right,
that's
that
a
wasn't the
myth too.
situation. That wasn't the situation when I give someone a trip. It was I went into it with the mind frame that I want to do this because I want to have fun. It had nothing to do
Okay.
with this man. It's like, come hang
That's
out.
the same thing with
let's
me.
do a
That's
trip.
what I
You
do
know
with
what I'm
my
saying?
wife.
Like, let's
Everywhere I
do it.
want to go, I bring my wife.
Right,
And that's your
like,
best friend,
let's
especially if
go
y'all
hang
dating.
out. This
Okay.
wasn't me expecting a relationship, or I wasn't in that mind frame when I was doing these things. It was just, let's go hang out, let's have fun. And I've only done it once, where I've actually paid for a trip for a male. But so it wasn't like, oh gosh, you're doing all these things for all these guys. No, that wasn't it. That particular situation was like, you know what? I'm single. I want to go here. It'd be nice to go with someone. What are you doing? Let's go.
Hey, I want to ask
But,
one. Go ahead.
Reggie, I have a question for you.
You ain't
Do
got a
men
question for me.
actually
I asked the
perceive-
questions. First
Yeah.
of all, I asked the questions, okay? This is my show. Let me mute you real quick. I'm just joking. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because you said that
Yes.
men don't want to compete. Do they truly view someone like Jody who says, come on, let's take a trip, even though she doesn't mean it that way? Is that what men take? Is like, oh, now I have to compete with what she has to offer? Even though that's not her intent to put them in that
I would
space?
better address it like this. If you got a woman that's constantly paying for trips, or if she's initiating a trip, I think the best way to present it is say, hey, have a magazine open. Say, whoa, here's a why. I always thought about going there or something like that. Wait for a response. He may say, I'm going to go ahead and buy a trip and pay for us to go to Hawaii. But if you're just picking it up and seeing by yourself, I like Hawaii, and then you choose Hawaii and you choose to buy it, you don't give an opportunity for the man to be a man. I'm just saying.
So a man to be a man is for the man to pay for that trip. I'm just gonna take some notes.
Listen, you don't give him.
Is that what we're saying?
Hold on. Let me correct that.
Men pay for trips. That's what.
No,
makes
don't take that
men
note.
men.
Don't take
Is
that
what-
note.
is that-
I do it with my wife,
that-
but don't take that note, okay? I'm a rare breed, but
I know
I'm just
I'm a rare
wondering
breed.
because men always tell women.
Hold
how
on, Vicky got something to
what
say.
do.
Vicky got something to say.
What-
Go ahead,
wait,
Vicky.
before Vicky-
Jody.
Go ahead.
So
Go
I
ahead.
realize
Jody
that
talk forever.
even
You
the
know
space
that.
and travel groups that we're in, I realize that some of the travel groups, one of the biggest things that the men have said is that they like to initiate the trips. But when you go with boys who try to initiate these trips, and maybe this is gonna add something else extra. Maybe Reggie, you probably help me with this one. So
Okay.
if a single woman goes on a trip with a man,
Yes.
and it's like y'all first trip together, y'all never really
Whoop,
done
whoop.
anything much or whatever.
Whoop,
This is
whoop.
like,
Who's paying for the trip? First of all, let's get to the nitty gritty.
if
Let's
he
go to the
no,
beginning.
he's paying, he pays for the trip.
Okay.
My question now is, are you expected to give yourself to this man because he paid for that trip?
I'm gonna say this, and I'm just gonna keep it real. It all depends on. All depends on how much the trip costs. Now, if a guy's, no, I'm just gonna keep it real. If a guy's taking you on a trip and he's not taking you down to Key West or he's not taking you down to Miami, he's spending money to go overseas and he's spending money in a lavish resort, whether it be A&B, whatever you call it, I can't think of it, or whether it's some type of rental house. But if he's spending a lot of money. Know the dollar amount. If he's spending a lot of money, yes, he's going to expect something. And
So
then if it's a single bed, you're not asking that question. Whether or not it's a single or double bed. If it's a single bed and he's laying next to you, yes, he's going to want something. Anytime, I'm going to tell you this, anytime a guy spends a certain amount of money on a trip, unless he's rich and it's just totally expendable, he's going to want something from that trip. I'm just keeping it real. Because
So if
no
we pay
guy
for the trip,
wants to be
though-
used because what makes you different than any other woman that he could have took on the trip? That's just real talk. He could have
Okay,
picked
so-
any, many, money, mo. If I had a choice, if I was single, I'm not single, but before my single days, if all four of you women were on this, and I'm talking to you, and each one of y'all, I don't know, I'm talking to each one of y'all. If I'm going to spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a trip, I'm going to try to determine which one I'm most likely to be successful with on that trip. And that's just real. I'm just keeping it real.
Oh, do you know that we women do the same thing with you guys, with you men?
How?
If we pay for the trip,
How? Oh, yeah. Guys don't care, though.
it's
Guys
a
don't
game
care.
sometimes. Like,
Hey,
we wanna
you
have fun
don't
too.
have to go on a
You
trip
might-
with a guy.
you might do
I'm
that.
just joking. The guys would prefer, but no, that's just keeping it real. He's going to determine. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not saying that you're required to do anything, but yeah, he'll probably have an attitude, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So just know that if you don't plan on doing anything, that he's probably going to have an attitude. So you just have to deal with that into the end of the trip. So hopefully it's a weekend getaway, but if it's a 7-day trip, you got 7 days you're going to deal with that unless you get your own resort, unless you get your own vacation package while
Or
you're
just
there.
pay for your own trips and go on your trips with your friends and enjoy
Well,
yourself.
I also like Caribbean people say you have your vex money. Just in case they get vexed with you, you have your vex money and
That-
decide to pay whatever you gotta pay.
That's what I said.
So-
Yeah, that's what I said. But in the meantime, in between time, you better be, you better be ready because he's going to try you. He's going to try you.
Yeah.
That money.
So
Go ahead.
With you as a man, a single man, if we pay for the trip and
Yes.
we do the same thing for you guys expected to get that kind of stuff to us, or how do you feel about that? Like I also want to know the male's perspective on a woman paying for a trip. Does
Well, go
he
ahead.
expect that because we pay for it?
No, guys expecting to have a good time, but at the end of the day, if y'all never done anything, more than likely, if you've never done anything, more than likely, he's got the incentive to know that if she's spending this amount of money on me, then yes, it's going to go on down when I get there. It's going to go down.
Oh. Somebody said different. Okay.
I mean, let me ask you this: have you actually had a problem on a vacation with somebody trying to do something with the guy, and the guy's like, "No, I'm tired. I'm sleepy," and this is your first time interacting in that type of in that type of way, sexual way? No.
No.
Well,
No, 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 no. Am I right, ladies?
You guys are pretty simple
Yeah,
when it comes
guys are
to that.
simple. Yeah, guys are simple.
When it
That's
comes to
simple.
that, you guys are
So,
simple.
FYI, if the trip is over $3,000, be prepared for a guy to try you, and be prepared if you don't decide to do anything. More than likely, he's going to have an attitude. It is what it is.
That's what we plan for when our period comes.
Hey, guys hate that. Hey, and guys have got smart on that too. Guys will say, hey, their time, and see what time of the month it is, and be like, no, we ain't going on a trip during this time right here.
Yeah, that's funny.
No, it's the truth. It's the
And
truth.
you just had a comment you flashed across the screen, and a gentleman said,
Rob. Okay. I'm gonna put it back up. Go ahead, Rob. There it is.
yeah, he said men are a lot more realistic in this area. We know if a woman is spending money on us, she's
Yes.
absolutely into us.
That's exactly what I said.
Very,
That's
very
exactly
true.
what
I
I
think that
said.
if a woman is going to spend money, then that is a level of interest. So men already know, that she's interested.
And it's going down,
When
okay?
a man spends money on women, he doesn't necessarily know she's interested. You won't know that until,
And
she
this
may
ain't on
just
the topic.
accept
I'm gonna
it.
tell you this. Anytime a woman starts spending money on a man, it's pretty much like Simon said. And if a woman approaches a man first, she's into him. So he knows at that particular point he has the upper hand. And so a lot of times, it's pretty much like I said. Simon said, hey, I want you to do this, or could you do this or do that? And a woman's going to do it. Because women tend to do what they're interested in. If they're really into a guy, sometimes there's no limits. Sometimes there are, but sometimes there's no limits.
So you're saying that women shouldn't approach men?
I'm not saying that. I say women should approach men. You go what I think you should go for what you want. My wife approached me. So, I got lucky. She didn't have to choose me. She could have chose so many other people. But I got lucky.
Nice. Well, there are a lot more of the myths, but I don't know how much more time we have because, Deshaun and I, we could do this all day.
And I know Vicky is running around doing 10 jobs at one time, so I can imagine. Hey, look at that. I agree. On the road trip, I'm mentally and physically prepared. Eve done worked out. She done the splits. She done her aerobics. She's prepared all the way around. But we're going to have an episode 2. Are you ladies coming on for episode 2? Next week, Tuesday.
I'll be here for episode 2. I want to dive into some of those stats so we can dispel some of these myths about successful women unable to get married and all this nonsense, because a lot of
because they're too headstrong. They're headstrong.
No, but on a serious tip.
See, look, you out talking to me right now. When a man speaks, I'm just joking with you. I'm just joking. Go ahead, Joe.
No, on a serious tip, I think it's important.
Somebody else.
I'm just joking. But go ahead,
I think it's important to always give facts, right? And I think that there's been such a misconception around Black women and marriage, and without these facts, we have women thinking that they're doing something wrong or they're not able to get married. But a lot of the misconceptions about quote unquote successful women are the least likely to get married, and that is not true.
I'm gonna tell you one of the reasons why. One of the reasons why, because they won't date down. Men are date down. Men are date a woman. Listen to me. I'm just going to say this. Men would date. Men, listen to me. Men would date a woman working at McDonald's. Men would date a woman working at McDonald's, but a woman would not date a man working at McDonald's.
We will, though. But we will.
When was the last time any one of y'all dated anybody at a fast food restaurant?
This is not true, right?
It is. I'm a man. I'm trying to tell you. And listen to me. Listen to me. That's why men tend to put flashy things on, because men want to present themselves in a way that's going to attract women. Women love flashy big things.
Okay,
women
so I just
like
want to say
success.
this, and I'll be quiet. I'll wrap myself up.
Go ahead.
It's statistically false what you just said. It's just statistically not true that successful women are least likely to get married. The reason you just gave is a personal opinion, but it's not fact. Basically, and I have the stats right now that I can review, or I'll put on my Facebook page. But there are stats to prove what I'm saying. That
you read this comment
I think
too?
It's almost 75% of women that are college educated are married before they're 35. 75% of women that are college educated are married before they're 35. The stats that they printed out when that big news report came out, that actually included women from 18 up. Well, we know we don't expect women that are 18. So there was another report done that later found that women that are the normal expectancy age of marriage, which is typically like 25 and above, 75% of college educated women do get married. And the same is
I
obviously
don't know about that. I don't know about that.
unlike you, I have stats, and I will give you I will cite these for you so you can read them yourself. Because I mean, I think we get lost in what media tells us to get lost in, and it scares us and it freaks us out and it puts men versus women, and you're the reason why, and you're the reason why, and this, that, and the third. And at some point in time, I need some sort of responsible person to get out here and speak back so we can stop the gender hate and the bias against each other. Like statistically, a lot of the things that a lot of these people are saying are just not factually true. We are getting married. We are getting married at a great rate. We're not divorcing at a quicker rate than in the past. These are all things that are myths, they're untrue. So ladies, if you're listening, I will post the stats on my Facebook page. Please, please, please don't fall for the false narrative that if you're successful, you're not going to get married. Don't fall for the narrative that Black men are only marrying white women when they're successful. That is untrue.
Jody, that's one of the reasons why I go on these apps sometimes, because they say, oh, there's no men out there. And I go on the app and I'm like, oh, there's lots of men out there.
Hey, that don't mean they're single, though. Hold on. That don't mean they're single now. I would keep it real.
Well, I'm just saying from what I see, I don't know, if they're single, they're lying or whatever, but it's people on the apps. It's like, so if there are women that want to get married, want to have kids in a family, that it's possible. It's
happening. I mean, there's another myth that Black successful men are only marrying white women. 83% of men of men that make over $100,000 are married to Black women, right? So I mean, we have to dispel these myths.
The truth in that statistic is that Black men do marry outside of their race at higher rates than Black women overall.
Than higher rates than Black women, but statistically, Black men, 83% marry Black women.
Twisting gets in, right? But exactly. I think you take a statistic and then you just flip it into something else. I think the truth of the statistic is yes, Black men are more likely to marry outside of their race than Black women. But to your point, yes, Black men who are high wage earners are actually, more of them are actually married to Black women than not.
Yeah. But anyway, Jody, I think you should post those.
Vicky, go ahead.
There are a lot of successful white men who are married to Black women.
Of course.
So that's the other thing too, is that yes, a lot of successful men in general, no matter the race, have a lot of Black women around them. So we are getting married to outside the race. So that's the other thing. Are we okay with dating outside of our race? I personally am.
All right, but we're gonna set that conversation for the second episode, okay? So I want to thank you.
I'll be there at the second episode.
That's next week. Next week Tuesday. Hopefully everybody come back on. But I want to thank you, ladies, for coming on. I love the photo that you guys sent me and I put together. Look at this right here. When everybody get made up, you know what I mean? But I want to thank you, ladies, for coming on. You did a phenomenal job and you gave phenomenal feedback. And true and honest feedback. I think I gave the most honest feedback from the heart, but you ladies educated, you inspired, and everything was exciting.
Thank you, babies. Thank you, Mr. He Got Game.
Hey, and we'll see you next week, Tuesday. Like I said, subscribe, and hey, I got a little celebration. The episode one turned out to be great, okay?
All these videos, I'm dying.
Thank you, ladies. All right, see you later. See you next week, Tuesday. In the meantime, in between time, y'all stay safe. All right.